All right, we'll do a quick recognition.
New recording.
I just started. Yep, we got a new recording.
Okay, good.
What's that?
I
Okay,
said good.
so 2 coaches that enrolled 2 coaches of their own during the week, September 3rd through the 9th. Marie Sardelli enrolled 2 coaches, and Ashley Beldenson enrolled 2 as well. As far as personal volume points for September 3rd through the 9th, these are the coaches that had over 250 personal volume points during that week. Ashley Feldenson, again. Jenna Barber, Andrea Wallace, Jenna Castor, Lauren Fravel, and Jeff Leese. Over 300, we got Cami DeCiccio, Amy Reelman, Jamie Garcia, Reve Chantel, Melissa Virgil, Alyssa Sardelli, Carrie Martabano, Corey Walker, Joe Policino. Over 400, Trip Knowles, Amy Morgan, Tammy Haiti, Bridget Moore, Margaret Macarer. Over 500, Shauna Valenta. And with over 600 volume points, Peter Reelman at the top of the list, dominating. Success Club points for the month of September. These are the coaches that have already hit Success Club. Emily Bachlet, Edward Cristofano with 6, Jennifer Petrovich with 6, Kayla Masalowski with 6, Danny Mullen with 6, Trip Knowles with 6, Amy Morgan with 6, Casey Bachlet with 6, Elizabeth Schutera with 7, Morgan Stevens with 8, Lee Maria with 10, Kelsey Gahan with 10, and Amy Reelman with 11 at the top of the list. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That was a little outdated. I'm just going to read. There's 5 people that already have Success Club 10 as of today. Lee Maria with 10, Morgan Stevens with 10, Terry Bachlet with 10, Kelsey Kahan with 12, and Amy Reelman with 17. Amy's trying to win that trip on the private yacht with Carl Deichler. I think the top 10 coaches that have the top, as far as Success Club points this month that are going to leadership get to go on a private yacht with Carl. Amy, you going to do that? Yeah. All right, Amy, I'm going to let you take over.
Okay. I'm excited tonight to introduce our guest speaker, Sarah Olinski. She's one of my coaches that enrolled in February. Since February, she has 17 active coaches personally sponsored. I think 12 or 4 of those coaches she put into her husband's account. So her husband is actually an Emerald with 4 coaches. And she's made Success Club 5 every single month, Success Club 5 plus 10 every single month since becoming a coach. She's been very consistent, hardworking. She is determined to quit her full-time job and do Beachbody before the end of the year. And what other awesome stuff? I don't know. She's just really good. So she is going to share some of her top tips with us. Sarah?
All right. Thanks for having me do this. This is way out of my comfort zone. So bear with me if I talk really fast or whatever. But so I'm going to share my screen with you guys. I just put together like a little presentation. It's not anything special, but
don't underestimate yourself.
Just didn't want you looking at my face the whole time. Okay. So let's see. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Okay, so I just wanted to kind of share my story and give you a little bit of background. So let's see, my name is Sarah, and I'm married to my husband, Steve. We've been married for 5 years. We don't have any kids, but we do have 4 dogs. So they're my babies. I work for a podcast advertising agency. I basically am the go-between with our hosts of the podcasts and my company. I graduated last year with my bachelor's in human resource management. And, as soon as I graduated, I was pursuing jobs in my field. And if you know anything about HR, it's extremely competitive and very hard to get in. You pretty much have to know somebody to get in. At the time, I was working for a virtual assistant company. And one of my clients actually approached me about working for their company full-time, which is the company I work for now. And so, of course, I took it. And I quickly realized that wasn't what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. I didn't want to have to report to a boss. And I didn't feel fulfilled. I didn't feel like my talents were being used. So I was pursuing other things, but nothing ever happened with that, which was a huge blessing now that I, have gotten through all that. So about, maybe 8 or 9 months ago, I created a fitness account on Instagram. I'm sure most of you have heard of Tone It Up. I was very active in that community and have been for about 5 years since we got married. I needed some kind of a workout community that was free because, being a newlywed, you don't have a whole bunch of money. So I was pretty active in that, and then decided, I had a personal Instagram account, but I was too shy and didn't want to post about my fitness journey on there. So I created this new account and started sharing on there. And then that's when Amy found me. And I didn't start in a challenge group. I was, I saw the business opportunity, and my husband was like, well, what do you have to lose? He's always been very supportive of it, which, I'm lucky in that aspect. And he was like, you don't have anything to lose, so just, go for it and see what happens. And so I did, and I'm so happy that I did. So I just wanted to share kind of my tips with you guys. I, of course, have gone through a lot of the same training that everybody has gone through. But I've put like a little bit of a different spin on it. And really focused on some things that have worked for me. So one of those is building strong relationships. I really, really focus on my relationships with my challengers and just with prospects. At first I started with the scripts and everything, and that was great to kind of get my feet wet and to get momentum and all that. But now I've just like on Instagram, I'll, just start conversations with people, and it'll be a back and forth thing, for maybe a week or two. And then, after that, we move it to Facebook, and then we start to dig deeper and really get to know somebody. And I don't bring up Beachbody right away. And I've formed a lot of solid relationships because of that. And they've, even mentioned like, I really like how you didn't, shove this down my throat at first. And they've approached me about either joining as a coach or a challenger. I think it just depends on the approach that you want to take, but that approach has worked for me. So, I put little bullet points here, but, don't rush the process. When you're talking to somebody, really dig deep and, get to know them. Don't lead with your own agenda or intentions. People will, they can read into that. They know whether you're being genuine or not. And then don't make it all about you. It's not about us. It's about them and about helping them. Either maybe they're like me and they don't have the interest in maybe the challenge group per se, but they want that, the freedom, the time freedom, the financial freedom. Really dig into that and see how Beachbody can help them. So, on this right here, dig deep, be genuine, be a friend to them. Just make sure that you're forming those relationships. And, that's another thing, like when you're talking to people on Instagram, don't just reach out to just anybody. Make sure it's somebody that you really want to do business with, or to have in your challenge group. I think that's really important. And then, listen and learn, to make sure that you're, just paying attention to them and making them feel loved and appreciated. And then that'll form a stronger bond between you guys. So that's that on relationships. And then sharing your story. I know we hear that all the time. And honestly, I feel like, and it's still hard for me because I don't feel like I have a story to tell. I don't have a huge transformation story. I grew up in a loving home. Yes, my parents were divorced, but I didn't ever let that define me. And I didn't ever let it get to me, I guess. I dealt with it, and it just, I don't know. I don't really think that's part of my story. I guess it is. I don't know. But just, I guess my point with this, big or small, you still have a story. So for me, I have dealt with anxiety for the past 5 years. And at the beginning of it, I didn't know what it was that I was dealing with. I had no idea what was wrong with me, and felt very alone. And I had just gotten married, and I was didn't know if it was just the whole change thing, from going, from living with a roommate to my husband and, all that. But so I started opening up about that in my posts on social media. So, be brave, be real and raw. And I just let it all out. And I had so many people who came to me, who have now confided in me, and, they trust me. And I'm still some total stranger on Facebook who they feel comfortable talking to. And, a lot of them have turned into challengers. And I have a few who, want to start coaching. They don't have the confidence in themselves, but it's one of those things where we're working on it together. And, once they're able to see that, if somebody like me who does deal with anxiety can do this and be confident, and somebody who, is introverted as I am can do it, then, then they go for it. So I think, be you, don't be a cookie cutter of somebody else. We see all these top coaches and we want to mimic what they're doing. And yes, we don't want to reinvent the wheel, but we also don't want to, you want to be you, because you're not going to be able to replicate what they're doing in a genuine way. It's just not going to come across as normal, I guess. So just make sure that you're, the way that you're portraying yourself is really true to you, and it'll come across, normal, for lack of better words. Okay, so staying consistent. Social media, I started with 150 friends on Facebook. Started with nothing on Instagram because I had just made that account whenever Amy found me. But now I've grown Facebook to over 800 friends and Instagram to over 2,000 friends. And yes, I do use Instagram and those kinds of tools, but I really feel like it's because of the relationships that I've built, and taking time to comment on people's pictures, and not being have it just be the generic posts oh great, or that's cute. I take time to read the post and comment on whatever it is, and then they're like, oh wow, she actually took the time to read this, and that's where the conversation starts. But okay, so practice what you post. I actually saw Bonnie Engel posted this last night on a picture, and it just stood out to me so much. But we're part of the 3 vital behaviors is doing your workouts and being proof the product works and all that. So you're trying to get people to be in your challenge groups and to join your team. You've got to be consistent with working out and drinking your Shakeology, and being that example for others. And then as far as the number of posts per day, I've played around with this. I know different coaches say different things, but what works best for me is 3 times a day. I've dropped down to 2 times a day, like morning and night, and I lost engagement. So I went back to 3 and it went back up. So I post first thing in the morning when I wake up, and then at lunchtime, and then before bed. And those are the times that like my niche is online. So, be relatable in your posts. Make sure that you're speaking directly to somebody and not to a big audience. You want to feel, when somebody's reading your post, you want them to feel like you're speaking to them. And that's what's going to draw people in, and especially your target market. So for me, I don't have kids. I don't, and this was kind of something that I was like, oh, I'm not going to be successful because I don't have kids. Because you see all these top coaches who have kids and who, that's part of their story and what makes them them. So I had a little harder of a time at the beginning, like really thinking, okay, well, who's my market? Like, everybody my age is having kids. So like I speak, to young professionals and dog moms and people who want to be able to work at home with their dogs and stuff like that. So be relatable to your target market. And then lastly, with social media, be original. Take the time at the beginning of your week to plan out your posts. That way, you're not scrambling last minute. I see a lot, and it's been a lot more lately, but people using other people's posts. And it's just kind of, I don't know. I mean, quotes are one thing, like we don't, so with quotes, what I do is I'll take a quote and like make it like an app, like Word Swag, or that Rana designs. And so I make it my own. But pictures, make sure you're posting your own stuff. I've seen quite a few instances lately, and it just doesn't, if I notice it, other people are noticing it, and you don't want to be seen as that person. So take the time at the beginning of the week. However many times a day you're going to post, write out what you're going to post. That way you don't have to think about it during the week. And then I've already kind of talked about this, but, work out, be consistent with that. And then talk about, your workouts. I post a lot of workout videos, and those get a lot of engagement and a lot of people talking. And so yeah, and then Shakeology, do the same thing with that. Share what it's doing for you. For me, I had a lot of digestive issues before I started drinking it, and I don't have any of that anymore. So I talk about it, and maybe it's not the most comfortable thing to talk about, but there's other people that can relate to it, and I've had those people reach out to me. So stay consistent. Okay, so this is another thing that I think really helped me at the beginning and just throughout, really. But don't be afraid to post about the coaching opportunity. From the get-go, I think maybe within like a month and a half of coaching, I was posting about it. And I, talked about what it was doing for me. And even, a month and a half in, it wasn't doing much financially, but it was boosting my confidence. And for somebody who, didn't have very much confidence growing up, just because I'm so shy and I would rather be in the back of the room unnoticed. So that was a big thing for me, and people took notice of that. I had people reach out to me on Facebook and just telling me that they were proud of me, and that like helps boost your confidence too. So, that's a result of coaching and me sharing about the opportunity. And then, the small victories, that kind of goes with the first point. But even if, like, say, even now, my financial, I don't really have a big financial story, but like little things, like I shared about, I bought a desk and I used Beachbody money for that. And I talked about it. And my husband and I went on a trip to California a few months back, and I talked about it because, Beachbody paid the way. And so I think people see, or I think maybe we as Beachbody coaches see the top coaches, and they have all these like financial things that they're talking about. And, we feel like we don't have a leg to stand on, when really like that's not relatable to somebody who's not a coach. That's intimidating. That they think it's just so far-fetched. But if you're posting about small things, like maybe you're going on a date night with your husband, and you haven't been able to do that, in a while, but because Beachbody, you have that extra money to go out and pay a babysitter. So stuff like that. Make sure you're just posting about what it's doing for you and inviting. Let's see. So be relatable. Don't focus on the things you don't have yet. Focus on the things you do have. I've already talked about that. And then just, keep it simple, like with your posts. I watched one video. I don't know. Somebody was saying something like, don't have all these words in your post. You want to draw somebody in with a few simple words and then have them read the paragraph underneath your post. That way, you're just driving engagement and all that. So don't be afraid to post about the coaching opportunity, because if you don't ask or if you don't put that out there, then people aren't going to know that they can join. I had one of a lead that I got from Beachbody who she had been watching my posts, and she was in one of my challenge groups and all that. And I reached out to her because I think she'd be a really good coach. And I was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing what I do? And she was like, oh yeah, well, I didn't know that I could do it. I thought you had to be like invited, or, so people just genuinely don't know. So it's up to you guys to ask and to put that out there and to share it. Okay, so setting goals. I know, this is another thing we all hear, setting goals. And, but I can't remember where I heard this, but somebody said, if you don't write a goal down, it's like marbles in your head or something like that. And that really spoke volume to me. So I've been writing down my goals, and I've been achieving those goals, and more so than before, whenever they were just all in my head. And then setting deadlines. I have, like Amy said, I'm really pushing to quit my job by the end of the year, and that's a very scary goal and deadline that I've set for myself. But I have it written down as a constant reminder that I need to be pushing and pushing and pushing and doing all that I need to be doing to be able to meet that goal. And then don't wish for it, work for it. So you can't sit here and daydream or scroll through Facebook or scroll through Instagram and think that you're going to be successful. You have to work for it. So personal development. When I first started coaching, I was like, oh, personal development, like that's, I don't know, I just had this like weird feeling about it. Like, I don't need those self-help books, or, it's weird. But now it's like non-negotiable for me. And I really didn't start taking it seriously until about maybe 4 months ago. I would read the books that were assigned and like Coach Basics and all that, but I didn't make it a habit. But I've also, I really like, like the Slide Edge and Compound Effect and all those, the business type books. But I've kind of branched out into other books, more, like devotionals. And I just feel like I get a lot out of them, and they speak highly to me, and, kind of give me the strength to get through, hard times. And I don't think that it has to be all about the business. I don't think personal development has to be all business related. I think, just life in general. I just think it just helps, and, can be applied to, it can be applied to our business. So like right now I'm reading, it's called The Best Yes. And I just started it, so I couldn't tell you guys exactly what it's about, but just stuff like that. It just, I don't know, I really like it, and I can relate to it, and I can apply it to different things. And I've also found, at the beginning, I really, really struggled with no's. And when somebody told me no, I just shut down. And I mean, it was like my whole day was just done. And I started reading personal development, and it's switched. I mean, I had somebody tell me, or she asked me if I was on one of the top coaches' teams, and I told her no. And she goes, okay, well, I want to be on their team. And, if somebody would have told me that like 5 months ago, I would have lost it. But I was like, okay, that's okay. Yeah, it stings, but you're just equipped with the strength to, get through those no's and those things. So then lastly, Dig in and learn. Whenever I started coaching, and even now, I mean, I still haven't stopped, but I watch YouTube videos all day long. I do work from home, but even if you don't work from home, like listen to a podcast if you can. There's a podcast called Entrepreneur on Fire. John Lee Dumas, he interviews entrepreneurs, and it's nice to hear like an outside, like somebody who's not consumed with Beachbody, other successful entrepreneurs. It's nice to hear their take on things. I like anything, the Shalene, Build Your Tribe. That's really good. There's another one called, I think it's Ask Pat. It's another business entrepreneurial podcast. But again, YouTube, I mean, I watch so much on YouTube and I've learned a lot. But you have to implement what you learn. So if you're just like listening to all this stuff and watching all this stuff and you're not taking it and applying it, it's not going to do you any good. So I think there was a podcast, The Tribe, I think it was Shalene Johnson's podcast. She was just talking about, this whole, if you need to implement what you learn and stop, learning all this stuff and then just not, letting it go in one ear and out the other kind of thing. So if that's too much for you, if you can't consistently be watching these videos and all that, then don't. Maybe set, say you're going to watch 1 or 2 videos a week and then take that and apply what you learned. And then network with other coaches. So I have gotten a lot of friends who I've met because of Beachbody. And, they're not on our team, but I can talk to them because they know what I'm going through. And it's just nice to have, to relate to somebody else and to be able to talk to them about it. And, you just make more friends. And so don't be afraid to network with other coaches. And then share your knowledge with people. So if you have people coming to you, maybe it's other coaches that aren't on our team, or maybe they are on our team, share, with them. Chances of them being in, having the same market as you is like slim to none. So don't be afraid to share, and, because you're going to benefit from that also by talking about it. And so yeah, that's about it.
Thanks. Does anyone want to ask Sarah some questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
How did you said early on when you talked about you dropped down to 2 posts on Instagram versus 3 posts,
Mm-hmm.
and you noticed your engagement dropped. What did you notice specifically, or how did you kind of like measure that?
I just wasn't getting as many likes on my pictures, not as many comments, those kinds of things. I really don't have a way to track it, I guess. I just noticed just on a day-to-day basis it dropped.
Okay.
Hey, Sarah, piggybacking based on what Chelsea said, so are you looking at engagement, like what times to post based on just like looking at it, or do you use like a kind of square website or something else?
No, I don't use that kind of square. I have looked at that, but I just
do it based on what you see.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just curious. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sarah, I just want to point out, I like how you talk about how, I think a lot of new coaches get scared to post about what Beachbody has done for them because it hasn't done much yet in a financial aspect or whatever. So I just like the point of sharing little things. And I feel like even for myself, sometimes I'm like, I can't wait to post about when I can buy this in cash or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But just sharing the little things throughout your journey are huge. Even if you've been a coach for a week and you sold 1 challenge pack and that's $40 that you didn't have and you can do with it. I like that aspect of it. That was a good note. And what was that one app Your pictures are always really good. What was that one app you said, Rhonda something?
It's Rana Designs. Hang on, let me pull it up. RHONNA.
Okay. Great.
Sarah, I have a question.
Sure.
I know that you put on a couple of the slides that it's important for you to implement the things that you learned since you spend a lot of time reading and watching YouTube videos. Kind of piggybacking on our last call, how much time do you devote to implementing each week, or do you schedule it? How do you kind of make sure that you're not just watching more videos and moving on to the next one?
That's one thing I'm still working on. I don't have systems down. I still kind of feel like I'm all over the place. I do spend a lot of time on Beachbody. I work, my normal job from 9 to 6, and then I'm up probably till midnight every night working on Beachbody. Only because, I have that hard deadline of needing to quit my job by January in order to accomplish goals next year. So as far as implementing goes, lately it's not been very structured at all. But maybe an hour a day, I would say, on average. Like writing down like notes and stuff. And then maybe applying it to my team. And I didn't touch on this and I probably should have. But I did start my own team page on Facebook. And I have like 4 or 5 coaches going through a Coach Basics right now that I put together just based on the things that I've noticed that have worked for me. And so I think branching off and doing those things, it makes you, it just kind of creates that leader in you. And I've never really looked at myself as a leader. But this has really, like I said, helped with my confidence levels and just pushes me out of my comfort zone to, help others. And so, yeah, I hope that answered your question.
Yeah, Sarah, I think that's huge. I feel like I waited too long to start my own coach group. Like I waited a year to start my own coach group. And I think was like the defining moment of me becoming a leader. So I don't think it matters if you've been a coach for 2 months or 2 years. Like I think starting your own team page and having your own accountability and not relying on everyone else is huge.
Right.
So stepping off on your own a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
That was a game changer for me too, starting my own coach group. I have a question on is someone else talking? I heard
No.
Terry. I have a question on Terry. Was Terry asking something?
Yes.
All right, go ahead. Sorry.
What a team page is. What's a team page? You mean team group?
Team group.
Yeah, like on Facebook.
So you're saying when you say team page, it's a private, your team group?
Like your coach group, Terry.
Oh, your coach group. Okay.
Yeah.
So you started your own, Sarah.
I did. Yeah. I think it was maybe 2 months ago. And I mean, it's like crickets in there. It's getting better, but
Oh, that's great. Okay. Sorry, Pat.
Oh, that's all right. I just had a question on, I think it's great that you take your time to find people that you really want to connect with on Instagram and take your time building the relationship with them before moving the conversation to Facebook or talking about a challenge group or anything. My question is just how do you keep track of the people on Instagram that you're having conversations with over a couple weeks before you move the conversation to Facebook?
I write them all down, and it's hard to keep track of them, but I just have a notebook that I write all the names down and kind of write notes next to it. And I'll, go in and check in on those people and, like their stuff and interact. And then after, a week or 2 of interaction, then I, move it over to Facebook and just say, hey, we have so much in common. I'd love to connect with you on Facebook. I'm always looking to add like-minded people or like-minded women to my circle over there. And most of the time they do add me. And then we just start talking over there. I think it's because they don't feel that pressure that I'm, going to try to sell them something. And most of the time they ask me about what I'm doing. I mean, not all the time, but yeah.
Cool. Do you use the the messaging on Instagram, or is the interaction just kind of on their posts?
Yeah, just on their posts. I don't like the direct messaging. People don't look at it. I mean, I don't check it.
It takes a while to load. Like I saw a message today and it was from like 6 weeks ago.
Oh, yeah.
And then when you move the conversation to Facebook, you just kind of like pick up the conversation where you left off.
Yeah, and I'll interact with their stuff on Facebook, looking at their pictures, because a lot of times it's different and they have more personal stuff on Facebook. So, then we'll just kind of take it more personal and talk about their kids if they have any, or their job if, they've talked about it, or just stuff like that. I try not to get too personal, I guess, on Instagram, because people don't open up as much. But if they're like in a private message, with me on Facebook, then they do open up. Cool.
And then how do you bring up them maybe doing like a challenge group or a free challenge or something like that?
And that's another thing. I have started to invite more to like a free challenge, and I use Beachbody On Demand. And I've had a lot of girls who love Turbo Fire. And then they want to do the 3 month, the club membership. So I just talk about the free group, and then they're exposed to Shakeology, like within, the commercials or whatever. And then they come to me about that. Now sometimes they see like my post about Shakeology or about a specific workout program I'm doing. And then that's how we kind of get talking about challenge packs. But that's another thing. Like I make sure that I have Success Club locked in at the beginning of the month. I mean, I don't this month, but I'm almost there. And then I move more into the free group, because then that creates my challengers for the next month. That free group does.
Can you explain what you mean by a free group with Beachbody On Demand? Because I think there's probably a lot of coaches that are confused when you say, I do a free group, but I do it with Beachbody On Demand because Beachbody On Demand costs money. And for those
right,
who don't know what Beachbody On Demand is, you can stream the workouts, and there's a ton of different workouts to choose from. The only ones that are not on there are the newer ones, but there's a ton of other ones on there.
Right. So I use the 30-day, there's a free trial of 30 days. And that's, so I have them sign up with me as a coach, as a free coach. And they do have to enter their credit card information, but it doesn't charge them.
Coach?
Do what?
They did. So in order for them to get the free 30-day trial of Beachbody On Demand, they just create a free profile, a free Team Beachbody profile, and you become their free Beachbody coach.
Yeah, there's an option. I think there's one option that you can go on there and just sign up for the free coach. Or there's an option where you can sign up for the club membership, but it gives you the first 30 days for free. So I make a note in my calendar to remind these people before 30 days is up that they're going to charge their card. And they can cancel if they want to, before it charges. And I tell them that, at the beginning, you're going to have to enter your credit card information, but I'll send you a reminder, and everybody's fine with it. I've not had anybody tell me that they didn't want to do it. So.
Sorry, I'm just typing this.
Yeah, no.
Because this is something I've heard other coaches do. I think it's such a great idea to give people a free challenge group, and during the free challenge group, they're getting exposed to Beachbody's products, their workouts for free.
Right.
And one of them, they can get a sneak peek of, they don't get to see the whole 21-day fix, but they can get one of the workouts from 21-day fix, a sneak peek of it. I think it's 30-30. So I'm just going to share my screen here just to kind of show these guys.
Sarah, do you have some sort of script for this that you can share with everyone as an outline of how you kind of walk through that process?
Like how I invite to it or I send? The inviting is just, I don't really have a script for that. I just it's based on the person. I do have an email that I send them like once they agree to wanting to join the group. So I can share that in the group.
Okay. What I was going to show was, so when people go to your website, your beachbodycoach.com website, they have the options to go to shop, coach. They can become a coach and join your team, or they can click on join. And when they click on join, I don't know if this is going to let me do it because, so they would just fill this in, right? Sign up for free Team Beachbody account.
No, it's a different link. It asks, you have to actually put in your credit card information.
It says it right there, Pat. It said want a club membership, and then you would click that.
Oh, yeah.
Click on this again.
Yeah. And then it said want instant streaming access. Sign up as a premier club member.
Maybe go to the right.
Yeah, make that bigger.
Why upgrade? Oh, then you can click on this upgrade here.
Yeah.
But there is a direct link that you can send them. I'll post that in the team page also.
So that's one way to do it. But yeah, it'd probably be easier if you just send them a direct link and they just put in. So they do have to put in their credit card information.
They do, yeah.
And then you just like explain to them that it's not going to be charged. They just put it in there to hold it. And you'll remind them.
And it also says that like there's a paragraph above all that tells them, the first 30 days is free. So it just, reassures them. But then I also tell them multiple times in my conversations, like I will send you a reminder. I've already put it in my calendar. But that's just real important that you do follow up with them so they don't have that bad taste in their mouth from somebody who, maybe burned them.
Cool. How long are those challenges? Do you do them for the full 30 days?
Oh, no. I did one for 14 days, and that was too long. I need to just do a week. People fall off, in those groups. And it's a lot of work for a free group to be posting in there. And so I would rather just, talk to them via text or messenger or whatever to see how they're doing.
And are they all doing the same? Like, how do you decide for them, like, oh, we're going to do 14 days and these are the workouts you're going to do? Or is it kind of like a free for all?
Well, I posted a schedule that I found on Pinterest. But then, I don't think maybe one person stuck to it. But I tell them, like, this is yours to play around with, have fun with it. Like, see which workouts you like best.
Yeah.
Well, my question, Sarah, is this how you got most of your coaches?
No, most of them were through my posting about the coaching opportunity.
Really? Without doing a challenge first? A lot less work or what?
I think it's just maybe because I wasn't.
That's how you enrolled.
Yeah, so that's just how I relate more to, people who, I don't know. I guess probably, just because that's how I enrolled. So I did have one girl who enrolled out, through this last free group that I did with Beachbody On Demand. So, yeah.
How many like through like the script, like the 21-day fix or like inviting them to a challenge?
Mom, you're getting very statistical.
I was just wondering because of the free group, like what's working better for her? She signed 17 coaches quite quick.
Yeah, I think it's all just I honestly don't know if I've had any coaches sign from inviting to a challenge group because I kind of stopped with the scripts maybe 4 months ago and had just been, focusing on building those relationships. And I think the people who are watching me like on Instagram and on Facebook, they see those posts about coaching and then that gets them interested and then we start talking about it. So that's why, like, I'm just haven't ever been afraid to post about the coaching opportunity. And that's what's gotten me the most coaches. So
Thank you.
Mhm.
Awesome. And Amy shared, what's your Instagram name so people can follow you to see the type of things you post, so we can borrow them?
Yeah. It's Sarah with an H-O Fitness.
I already followed you just a couple minutes ago. Cool.
Can I ask a quick question?
Yeah.
What app do you use for the video with like your Instagram handle on it? It's like a collage video.
Pick, play, post.
The one, and then you put your hand like, because I use that one as well, but I haven't seen how you put like your text.
Oh, yeah. I had to pay like $1 to get that watermark changed. It's like $1 or $2, something like that. But there's an option. Let me see if I can find it.
Okay. I think I paid the $1 to get it off, but I didn't know you can change it to anything else. But I do see it's on the lower right, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. And then there's like, whenever there's a watermark, you have to like slide it, the little button or whatever, and then you can change it.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, Sarah.
Uh-huh.
So, a quick question. So, you said you posted about 2 to 3 times a day, sometimes more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So,
yeah.
So I'm curious. Are you like an innately creative person? Like,
No.
where do you get where do you get the inspiration or ideas for the different posts to still make them meaningful? You know
Yeah, and that is hard. I have to really think about it. That does not come easy for me, because I'm constantly making sure that I'm not just posting just to post. And that is one thing. Like on the weekends, I maybe will drop down to 2 times a day because, people aren't on social media on the weekends as much, especially Fridays. Like I'll post Friday morning, but I may not post Friday at lunch because I don't get very many, I don't get likes or comments or whatever. People are just preoccupied with it being the weekend. But I feel like I kind of have a boring life. I mean, I work from home, and so I don't have much interaction with people. So I don't know.
Sarah?
Yeah.
Is that 3 times on Facebook and on Instagram?
Yes, and I post the same thing that I post on Instagram to Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I have different markets. I don't have, a lot of my friends are still not on that fitness on my Instagram. And I mean, it's public. It's not set to private. They just have never followed me over there, which is fine.
I guess that's where I have trouble because I can post whenever I really need to on Instagram, but I have a lot of my work friends are also on Facebook, so
yeah.
I can't really post on Facebook while I'm at work.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
Kind of finding that balance and posting when I know that it is appropriate to post,
Right.
But do you find that hard at all, or?
I don't, only because my company doesn't know about Beachbody. It's not. I mean, in my company, I mean, they're based out of Los Angeles, so I don't have that interaction with them. They don't see my day-to-day basis kind of personal life.
Right.
They have no idea that I'm in this. They have no idea that I'm looking to leave them. So
that's good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You said you had an Instagram like fitness account for like 5 years before you became a coach, right?
Oh no, I didn't have the Instagram. I was just following Tone It Up workouts for 5 years.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but I didn't start posting. I didn't start that Instagram until I think it was 2 months before Amy reached out to me.
Gotcha. Anybody else have any questions? Three, 2, 1. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I'm sure I'll come up with some other questions, and I'm sure some others will. So is it okay if we hit you up in the group?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Awesome. Thanks again. That was great.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna give you a team boom. Boom. All right.
Thank you.
All right, boom on 3, guys, and we're out of here. 1, 2, 3.
Boom.
Another thing would be
See you guys.
January.
Bye.
Bye.